advocate for agriculture. I work with the best people on this earth, and I tell everyone that I know that, and I truly believe in what this organization does. And I hope that I can share some of that with you today as a person that didn't grow up around Farm Bureau or in Farm Bureau, and I'm sure I have some comrades in the room as well. And I hope that you can go back to your Farm Bureaus better equipped to be a mission-driven leader. So as we start, if I can just kind of get a show of hands. If you're a staff person with Farm Bureau, will you raise your hand? Okay, great. What about if you serve on a state committee? Okay, great. If you serve on a county committee? Excellent. Now, raise your hand if you're part of Collegiate Farm Bureau. Okay, and if you serve on the state board, and I know I'm going to have some repeat people here, on the state board, and then on your county board. Excellent. And then raise your hand if you're a member of Farm Bureau, but you are not yet in a formal official leadership capacity. All right. Okay, that's very helpful because really it looks like the majority of the group here today will be in committee leadership, board leadership, and this is something that will help us because we are going to be able to influence the people around us in committee leadership and board leadership. That's what we'll move on with today. Now, an outline of our session, we'll start with a quick definition of leadership. I think it's important for us to all be on the same page. We will move then into talking about what is our mission and just making sure we're all on the same page of what a mission is and what a mission statement is. And after that, we'll dive into mission-driven versus mission-challenged. And we'll talk about what the characteristics of a mission-driven leader are, and then what the characteristics of a mission-challenged leader. And finally, whenever we wrap all that up, we'll take a look at what it looks like to apply this in our everyday lives, in our organizations, and in our leadership abilities. We'll start from the top and then we'll work all the way down into planning an event or a meeting and how to apply these concepts. So that's what we will be doing during this session. I hope that when this is over, first of all, that you will actually know the mission of your organization. Secondly, that you will be able to assess whether or not you're mission-driven, mission-challenged, or maybe a combination of the two. Third, that you will gain insight about how to be a mission-driven leader, that you won't wonder what that is or how to do that. You'll know clearly what that is. And then most importantly, that you will be extremely motivated to incorporate your mission into your leadership. So if we can accomplish those 4 things in the next 45 minutes, we will be successful here today. So I talk fast. I hope you're ready. And take notes if you need to, ask questions if you need to, and I will hopefully be able to, at the end, address anything that you're not comfortable with that maybe I can help you with before we leave. So we're going to start off with that definition of leadership, as I mentioned. It's very important, we all have different ideas of what leadership is, so when we're talking about a leadership topic, it's important that you guys understand what page I'm on whenever I refer to leadership. Now, if I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, my 7-year-old's in 1st grade, and occasionally he gets picked to be the line leader. And when he gets picked to be the line leader, it's a pretty big deal. He comes home and he's all excited that he got picked to be the line leader. This means that he has been on a good color for a couple of days. Anybody have kids in the color system at school? He's been on a good color for a couple of days, and now he gets to lead the line. So this is his first orientation to being a leader. I get to go in the front of the line and everybody follows me. Well, as wonderful as that is for my 7-year-old, this is not my idea of leadership. I have an idea of leadership that's much like what you heard in the general session just now, as well as what you see in this picture. You could think of it as a coach of a team, or you could think of it as in the military, whenever you have an entire group of people that are going after on a mission to accomplish a goal. Now, in the military analogy, please don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about the abrasiveness of a drill sergeant. That's not what I'm promoting here. But what I am promoting is that in this kind of leadership, it's very important that there not just be one person doing everything. Actually, that one person often is not really doing the job at all. That one person is actually making sure that the people on the team are all doing their work, that they're equipped, that their talents are leveraged, and that all of them know exactly what they're trying to accomplish. And if they all know very confidently what the goal of that mission is, and they all leverage all of their talents to work together to accomplish that goal, then the mission will be successful. And that's really how I look at leadership. I look at leadership as an opportunity to come together to accomplish a goal. So I have a definition that I use, and this is just my own personal definition, and that is that a leader mobilizes the people around a common goal and leverages the talent of others in order to get things done. Why do we need leaders at the end of the day? Is it for hierarchical purposes? Not really. At the end of the day, the reason why companies need leadership, organizations need leadership, why families need leadership, the reason why we need leaders is to get things done. There's something that needs to get done, and somebody needs somebody to do it, right? And so we're looking for leaders to step up to the plate to be able to get that thing done. And unfortunately, sometimes we get the impression as leaders that we need to be the person that gets it done. And I would beg to differ with that. The way we get things done is by mobilizing teams of people around the common goal to accomplish it. And that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Now, we also need to talk about our mission. All right. Let's do this real quick. Well, I'll say that in a second. Let's say first, a lot of people think that mission statements are kind of antiquated, that they're out of style, or that they're old-fashioned. And I will tell you, I beg to differ. Mission statements are more relevant now than ever before. There is a big generational gap in leaders right now. In the agricultural industry, we have a big generational gap between the generations of farmers as well as the generations of leaders in our organization. And being a grassroots organization, our leadership reflects our industry. And we have a very top-heavy industry in one generation, and then we have a heavy generation in the younger generation. And we have a gap in between. And that's why our leadership structure in many of our State Farm bureaus will reflect that. Well, now, what we're looking at is millennials tend to care more about why they do what they do than former generations. It used to be more about just doing something, being a hard worker, having that work ethic, getting it done. But millennials are looking up mission statements to organizations before they will commit to be involved. They want to make sure that that mission statement aligns with their own personal values. I went out to a young farmer who has a hydroponic tomato farm, who's not a member of Farm Bureau. We talked about the operation. We were interested in one another's work. We talked about the work of Farm Bureau. We talked about how important it is to have all people who are involved in agriculture as a part of our unified voice. We had a great conversation. I said, I know you're not a member, but we'd love for you to join. Our state membership is only $40 for an annual membership. So I thought, this is easy. We'd love to have you join and be a member. And he said, I think I'm going to have to look up what the mission of the organization is and what it is that you guys really want to accomplish before I commit to that. And I said, okay, well, that's fair. And that was the end of the conversation until later. This is very prevalent. And so knowing the mission of your organization is very important, and focusing on it is important for the generations to come. So this bears the question. Do you know your State Farm Bureau's mission statement? In South Carolina, our State Farm Bureau has a mission statement, and it is to promote agricultural interests in the state of South Carolina and to optimize the lives of those involved in agriculture while being respectful to the needs and concerns of all citizens of the state. That's our State Farm Bureau mission statement. Now, if I were to ask you, I want you to raise your hand, okay? If I were to call on you right now, raise your hand if you would be able to recite to me verbatim your State Farm Bureau's mission statement, the way that I just said mine. Yes. Okay, No, seriously, raise it. I'm not going to call on you. I'm just curious for those of you who feel like I could do that right now. I'm really curious. Will you tell me what state you're from? Colorado, okay.
New York.
New York. Is there anyone else? All right. Now, tell me this. If I were to call on you right now, could you tell me, I kind of know it, but I'm not really sure if I could tell you verbatim exactly what it is, but I could probably give you like bits and pieces of our mission statement. Raise your hand if you're in that category. Okay. All right. Now, raise your hand if you're thinking, I had no idea my State Farm Bureau had a mission statement. I'm not going to ask you what state you're from, don't worry. Okay. All right, now raise your hand if you know for sure that your State Farm Bureau has adopted the AFBF mission statement and that that's your mission statement at your state level. Okay, all right. So you guys are often, the majority of you, it seems like you're a little bit where I was. When I started in South Carolina, the very first thing I did before I even applied for the job was I got online to see what the mission statement was. I saw the job description, and I thought, I don't even know what this organization does. So I got online, and I started looking for the mission statement. Y'all, I could not find it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I found about 3 or 4 different paragraphs of all the things that Farm Bureau is doing, and I found multiple sentences that indicated the type of work that we do, but I never saw South Carolina Farm Bureau Federation's mission is to ... I never saw that. So I dug and I dug and I dug, and I finally found it. It is there. I finally found it. And when I came on board, I started asking. And this is where, fast forward 2 years later, and now in my organization, I'm referred to as the mission police. I mean, I'm the mission nerd, I'm the mission police. It's very important that we know our mission statement. So I think I'm in good company today, because it's completely fine if you don't know it. But I will say, I'm going to go ahead and put up AFBF's mission statement for us as well, before we move on. AFBF is a unified national voice of agriculture working through our grassroots organizations to, all right, right here is where we get to the mission. To, verb, enhance and strengthen the lives of rural Americans and to build strong, prosperous agricultural communities. This is the end goal. This is the why. This is why we do what we do. This is what we're shooting for. This is what we want to accomplish. And when we talk about a mission, we're talking about what is it that we want to accomplish. So, with that in mind, I want you to know if you have a cell phone or an iPad or anything like that, and you are just burning right now going, I cannot believe I don't know the mission statement of my Farm Bureau, get it out and Google right now.